We've been waiting to say this for a really long time. It's playoff season at Wrigley Field. We preview Cubs, Padres next.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. Cubs play the Padres at 2:08 p.m. Central Tuesday, game one of the wild card series. We're about to preview it all. Cubs' first playoff appearance in a full season since 2018. We'll also have a pregame crossover show published Tuesday morning. Sam and Javier Reyes of Locked On Padres will be on that. Additionally, Sam will be doing a watch-along for the first three innings on Tuesday, exclusively on YouTube. Sam, there's a lot to discuss here, but I'm feeling the excitement, and it sure seems like you are as well.
Did you see Matthew Boyd's press conference?
Yeah, it was hit me in the feels for sure.
Did you read PCA's piece in the Players Tribune? Throw away the analytics, folks. Analytics and all that stuff is great over 162.
Doesn't matter.
This is about, sure, you got to know, okay, this guy likes it here, doesn't like it here, whatever. But you know what I mean. This is about not who's the better baseball team, but who plays better over 72 hours, 27 innings. This is the time to get creative. This is the time to do things that are unexpected. Be the aggressor. You know, we've known that the Cubs were going to be here for a while, but it did look a little bit rocky there when they started to struggle. They've earned this right. They've earned this opportunity, and then if they win this, they'll earn the next opportunity. It's Wrigley Field. Jake Arrieta's throwing out the first pitch. Eddie Vedder's singing the stretch. Look, there's big moments. 1984, the Cubs would have beat this Padres team if they got the third home game at Wrigley Field. Why didn't they? Because of the lights. They didn't have the lights yet. So revenge is a best dish served cold. It's time to talk about how and why we're going to beat these teams.
All right, later we're going to get to the path to victory, then key matchups. We start with big questions, and the number one for me, and we'll get to the pitching matchups later, but the number one thing for me, Sam, can the Cubs score early? And if you're going to put all your chips into game one, because you would love to go into Wednesday up 1-0. We could all say that. There's no other way to put it. You don't have to win Tuesday's game, but you really, really want to get that one.
Yeah.
Especially because you are at Wrigley Field. And you have to get to Nick Pivetta. You have to. The Padres bullpen is a force. They're almost a half run better than Team 2 in the ERA rankings for bullpens. Nick Pivetta, we saw it with our own eyes on April 5th in a game we went to. This dude has a tendency to overthrow at times. He only went 3 innings on that cold April day. We had Nick Caps on. Tomorrow it's going to be summer for crying out loud.
I had a soft pretzel.
He had 3 walks, 6 hits, 3 runs. He went 3 frames. Matthew Boyd against him. Will the real Cubs offense show up? Please stand up. Because if it does, they will do damage against Pivetta. Mark my words. But they have to score early.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'd love to see the Wrigley crowd really bother Pivetta. You know, make the pitch com guy have to come out twice. You know, one of those things.
And I think you would like to see them run plays from the outset. Hit and run, bunt.
Yeah, depends on the weather. But if it's not a great day to hit home runs, I definitely think in game 2 and 3, if there is a game 3 with Cease and Darvish, you have to get creative because those guys don't like throwing to the bases, and you could make them uncomfortable by running and bunting at them and stuff like that. People can laugh at me all you want. You're just trying to steal 2 games. Doesn't matter how you do it, right? As far as Pivetta goes, He's really good. I think I know I really wanted him this offseason. He was on my short list. Ironically, the Cubs got Boyd, and those two are squaring off again. Boyd's been really good too. The key for me offensively, you say scoring early. I'll add just putting the ball in play. Make it's 2:08 Central. It's noon their time. The crowd, these are humans that are playing the sport. Just watch Matthew Boyd's press conference again. Make them make plays. Don't strike out 15 times. When you have guys in scoring position, put the ball in play. Just do those things. Give yourself a chance. And then on the other side of the ball, make sure you make the easy plays. And just going into the next big question, well, how's Matthew Boyd going to fare? And for me, it always...
Exactly. That is the next big question. Him and Shota.
It always starts with this. Don't walk people. Keep the ball in the park. If you do those two things, it's going to be a recipe for success. I would say, obviously, with Shota, you're worried about the home run part. And with Boyd, maybe a little bit of both, but maybe he's overamped and he's walking guys. We've seen that with him now and then. Make them hit the baseball and don't groove it to them and give up a bunch of homers. Make them hit their way to scoring runs. Let one of the best defenses in baseball do what they need to do. And my big pet peeve with runners in scoring position, when you're pitching and you're up 1-2-0-2, don't throw like really hittable strikes. Just be situationally sound. Look for strikeouts when they're there and you need them. When you need contact on offense, make sure it's there. And I know this doesn't really answer a big question, but enjoy it. Enjoy the moment. You've earned the right to play a playoff series at home at the best ballpark in front of the best fans in baseball. This San Diego Padres team, they're a 38-43 ball club away from their home venue. Okay? You can beat these guys. This isn't the 27 New York Yankees coming to town. Okay? This isn't the late 90s Yankees coming to town. This isn't the Dodgers of yesteryear coming to town. It's a good team. I got a lot of respect for them. They got a lot of talent, but you could beat these guys if you play your A game.
Well, absolutely. And the playoffs are the king of variance. They're the king of fortune. You think I'm going to care if someone gets a broken bat RBI single against
all results based. The process means nothing. If somebody flashes up that Hap hit a ball 108 at a guy with a couple guys on, that would be great if we had another 4 months left in the season. I'd rather have a 40-mile-an-hour ball drop in between left and center and score 2 and take an early lead.
And I know we don't always say what people want to hear, but what happened before this does not matter. The regular season determined the best team. The playoff determines the World Series winner. Mm-hmm. And also, the Cubs' hot ending to September on offense really doesn't matter. I hope it continues.
We'll find out if it matters at about 2:15, 2:20 tomorrow.
By the way, Sam, when the Cubs' offense is at its best, they don't strike out. They accept walks, they put the ball in play, and they slug.
Yeah.
Last big question for me.
Yes.
Because I do think there's a
chance,
off topic.
By the way. That's on me.
I think Shota, there is a chance they use an opener. We'll get to that later.
Oh, boy.
Last thing for me.
Uh-huh.
How is Kyle Tucker feeling?
Mm-hmm.
The Padres have 3 stars: Tatis, Machado, and Merrill. The Cubs have one very clear one in Tucker. They have one who did it for 90% of the year in PCA. They have a great supporting cast.
It's probably about
but Tucker is the main guy.
Yeah.
If he's healthy, they're going to be able to score early.
Yeah. I'm looking at 2 guys. So, the Tucker story is huge because if the Cubs lose this series and he doesn't perform, which I think both those things go together, it's going to be looked at as a trade that missed, and we'll have to talk about it for a while. Look, he's coming off of an injury. I just want him to be a part of it, help move the line along. If he's up in a big spot, make good swing decisions. Don't roll over to the right side. But I got 2 guys that we'll be talking about a little bit later that not only I don't do a pick that might work. I got two guys that I expect to have big series, and it's not Kyle Tucker.
Let's get into that and key matchups right after this. Today's episode is brought to you by Nutrafol. You've probably seen millions of ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. Well, that's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And we have breaking news for you. Nutrafol is now the official hair growth partner of Major League Baseball. You can feel great about what you've been putting into your body since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF content certified, the gold standard in the third-party certification for supplements. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, they're offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Locked On. Find out why they're the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, Nutrafol.com, promo code Locked On MLB. Shout out to the Everydayers, and you can become a Locked On Cubs Everydayer by joining us for every episode throughout the week. A reminder, we'll be live right after the final out, just about after the final out.
I'll be on about 2 o'clock.
Of every playoff game. And yes, Sam will be on. Wow, 8 minutes before first pitch. That's
yeah,
fun.
why? Because I got to make sure that all the connection stuff's working well.
Maybe I'll put that on 6th period.
No, don't put in front of your kids. I don't know how that's gonna go, you know.
Matthew Boyd, Nick Pivetta, Shota Imanaga, Dylan Cease, Jamison Tayo, and Yu Darvish.
I might get overran.
Could be an opener for Shota on Wednesday. Padres offense has struggled against lefties. Cease and Darvish have really, really struggled on the road. Padres bullpen has that core four: Estrada, Morejon, Miller, Suarez. And Cubs split the season series with the Friars this year, 3-3. And we went to that game April 5th. And who pitched? Matthew Boyd and Nick Pivetta. Sam, let's go through those couple names because I'm intrigued for sure.
Yeah. What, you want to go over the openers or Padres standouts?
I'd like to go over the intriguing names that you mentioned.
Yeah. All right. So, for our guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Before that, look, let me just do a quick thing with the Padres.
Okay.
And I'll get to our guys. Look, they're really good. They're really good. I'm surprised they only won 90 games. I did a crossover that's going to be released tomorrow for our pregame. I learned a little bit why. Michael King being hurt. They struggled with their starting pitching. Merrill has heated up lately. He had a little bit of a sophomore slump, whatever. He's a real dangerous hitter. They run through Tatis, Machado, Merrill, Bogarts, Arise offensively. The good news with the Cubs is O'Hearn doesn't love to hit lefties. Ramon Laureano, their platoon guy, he's out. Gavin Sheets doesn't love to hit lefties, so you could neutralize them in that regard. I would categorize them offensively as very dangerous. That I don't think they're very good, but I think they're dangerous. They're dangerous enough. I don't know a ton about their defense. And then the pillar of their team is their relievers, and their starters have been up and down. Expect Michael King to come in relief at some point in this game. Yeah, or this series. As far as our guys go, look, Say is hot, Bush is hot. Those are great candidates. What makes the Cubs a good team is there's a lot of candidates. I could pretty much say any name, and I don't think it would surprise you if I said, hey, watch out for those two. Here's the two I'm going to pick. Number one, look, call me a little bit naive, but when I read that piece from Pete Crow-Armstrong today, I almost ran through my apartment wall for that kid. And I just think that when this team, with all due respect to Kyle Tucker, when this team got to a level where this city was on fire And this team and that ballpark was special. It was not because of anybody else other than PCA. And I'll admit it, I'm a little bit concerned about him being overamped, but I just think he's going to do something special in this series. And I think it's a decent matchup for him. And he's my one guy. And my number two guy is going to surprise you. Dansby Swanson. I think he's quietly had a really good year this year. He's just really struggled with men on. And the reason why he struggled with men on is because Dansby's a dead red fastball hitter. And when guys are in trouble, they don't like to throw their fastball. They like to throw their breaking stuff. And I could just see him ambushing a couple of pitches in this series and finding the seats and playing some really good shortstop. The guy's a World Series champion, and I expect him to play a good 2 or 3 games for the Cubs. Those are the two guys I'm looking that might stand out a little bit more than you think. What do you think?
Well, the Cubs have no weak spots in the lineup. That's why they could go to the last game of the year, is partially why. Right. You might say, oh, well, Matt Shaw, is his average is 220, whatever. But you would not be surprised if Matt Shaw just went off against Pivetta on Tuesday.
No, I wouldn't be shocked.
No. And him hitting ninth is a comfortable spot for him.
Yeah.
And he gelled.
No Castro.
You just listed the Cubs 8th hitter in Swanson.
Yeah.
Well, 20 plus homers, 70 run plus driven in.
Yep.
I'm tracking with that. I think Ian Happ could be the one who gets to a level this series that really overjoys a lot of us and not only supplements what a Pete or a Tucker, say a Bush, whoever. But so I'm looking at Shaw, at Happ, and Horner. I think Horner as well.
So a third of the lineup.
Yeah. And to your point about Pete, Sam, he took over the sport in June and July. The guy was mic'd up in the All-Star game. It's time for him to take the sport over again this time.
Well, postseason's about superstars, right?
Yeah.
It's about two things. He's
got to be himself. He really does.
It's about superstars and it's about unsung heroes. Cubs got great candidates for both. So does San Diego.
They got great stories up and down the roster for sure.
I'll say this. San Diego's won 7 out of 8 coming into this. And I had a really good conversation with Javier about this that you'll see.
Okay.
He made a really good point, and I'm going to counter it here, but respectfully, about how this series means more to the Padres than it does for the Cubs. And his reasoning was really fair. They went all in at the deadline, right?
Yeah.
AJ Preller only has a
deadline.
year and a half left, and they've been with this core group of players. They made a CS against the Phillies in 23.
Yep, they flirted for sure.
They were within a game of beating the Dodgers last year, and I think even the Dodgers publicly said that was kind of what they were most worried about. I could be wrong on that. And for all that stuff, it means more. Where the Cubs have kind of been lukewarm and whatever. And my counterpoint is, I just think. The Cubs messaging, I think this means a lot to them. I think they know that if they lose this series, this season was a failure, and it's in their ballpark. And I, me, Matt, I love hearing talking and press conferences and things like that. And I don't think it means more to the Padres. I think it means more to the Cubs because they're the Cubs, and it's been a while since they've been here. And I don't have a lean on the series. I think if it was in San Diego, I think the Cubs lose both quickly. I think in Wrigley Field, it's a total coin flip. And I really think this team is going to be ready to go. Does that mean they're going to win it? No. But I don't think they're going to be afraid of the moment. I think they're going to be ready to play at their best at the best time and roll the ball out and see what happens.
I feel like there's a lot at stake for this team. This could be at many times this year. This has been a fun Cubs team that's hit us in the feels in many different ways, but it's time to win now.
Yeah,
and I really feel like this is the year to do it. Tucker is about to hit free agency. Happ, Horner, Seiya, Kelly, Boyd, Tyone are all up after 26. If there's a time to strike, I think it's this postseason.
Imanaga's got a big option coming up.
Imanaga's got a weird option that I think to exercise multiple years, they're just going to pay him more money, which I think is worth it given the rotation, the lack of they have depth, but not necessarily upside depth. So I just feel like there's a lot in the line and it's a huge opportunity. Don't waste it.
Yeah. And for those people that aren't big baseball fans, this is your dream scenario now because 162 becomes 3. And if 162 is a marathon, this is a race from the window of my apartment to my front door.
Yeah, the whole sport changes, especially in the new format.
Yeah, and I'm you know what, Matt? I'll look in the camera and tell you I'm ready to go.
Good. That's good to hear. All right, let's go over the Cubs strategies here. They're definitely in the war room thinking about a lot.
Yeah.
Opener, who's on the roster when it's released 10 a.m. They still got a couple guys floating out there that, could, show up from the concession stand or whatever. Or the Ivy, like I said, on Sunday's episode, our last episode. Also, a couple paths to victory, and maybe we could go around baseball a little bit as well next.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet. Put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I went back and forth. I actually had the Raiders, but the +1.5. So I got the Bears win and a nice cover. Cubs Padres right now on FanDuel for the series. Chicago -126, -116 for Tuesday's game. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started.
Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Cubs. That way, on your preferred audio platform or YouTube, that way you don't miss any of the great Cubs content we've got for you. All right, one nugget here about the Padres. I'm not sure if you and Javi mentioned was Freddie Fermin.
No,
is catching Nick Pivetta for the first time in his life on Tuesday.
Did not mention that.
I think that's something to just keep an eye on.
Run
for your lives and respect 90. And we've heard a couple names floated as openers. They're not doing it on Tuesday. I think Wednesday is a possibility with Shota. I guess I would say this, even since we talked, Sam, earlier today by cell phone, cellular device, I like that the Cubs are thinking over all their options.
Agree.
I'm a little more open to it than I thought, because again, it's game 1 of 3, or really 1 of 1 if you want to get in that mindset, especially for the wild card series. It's just so compact. But I'm also choosing to remember Justin Steele is out. Cade Horton is out. Boyd wasn't sharp his last several times, though he was last week. And Shota hasn't been sharp his last several times, giving up 12 homers in 6 starts.
Ooh.
So if they want to whiteboard all this stuff and all the options, and if they want to try Ray or Palencia or Kittredge or Keller or Pomerantz or whoever before Imanaga or before Tyone, I'm bringing myself to understand. I'm not thrilled by it, but I can see why they would do it.
First of all, Fermin really good at throwing out base runners. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm glad they didn't do it for Boyd. I thought that would have been unnecessary. I could see it for Shota, could see it for Tyone. Counsell said today he can't tell you anything about game 2 until they play game 1. So they're going on that basis. The way I see that is if the Cubs win game 1, it'll probably just be Shota. If they lose game 1, you're going to probably see them get real tricky with it, because if they lose, they're out. My only concern with that stuff is if you've been starting all year and then you're asked to come out of the bullpen to pitch your second inning, I mean, does that mess with you at all? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I feel pretty optimistic that both these guys are going to find a way to pitch, at least compete. You know,
Okay,
I would be really disappointed if one of them had a blow-up start. That would be really disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that would, and not just in the sense of, because the Cubs would lose. I just don't think they're those type of guys. And again, things could happen, right? You know, sometimes it's out of your control. You just don't have it, right? Look what we talked about with Clayton Kershaw. You know, even the best have that. But I just feel like Imanaga coming off, I just think it's a good spot for him. I just see both those guys competing, and you have path to victory written down, and my path to victory is that it's getting good starting pitching, your bullpen doing your job and making sure you score at least 3 runs. You get to 5, you feel real good, and we'll see what the weather does. This offense is hot. Maybe a 5-3 and a 6-4, or a 5-3 and a 4-2, or something like that. Notice I don't want to play the game 3. But I will.
I don't either.
But I will if we lose. I'll do anything to play that game 3 if we lose Tuesday.
I have the same list. Boyd and Imanaga doing well. Bullpen remains steady. They've been fantastic all year. And will the offense accept their walks? Will they put it in play? Will they
get a
make
big
swing
hit?
Decisions?
Somebody needs to get a big hit.
Right, that sort of thing.
Who's going to get the hit?
If you hit the ball over the fence, I wouldn't mind that as well.
Who's going to get the hit where you send me a text and go, we're going to win this game, right? You're pretty good at that.
Right.
Maybe it's 2-1 in the 5th. Bases
might be Kelly.
And Swanson, who hasn't been clutch all year, stays back on a right-on-right change, stays back on a right-on-right breaking ball, drives it in the right center field gap to score 3. And you send me a text saying, 5:05, be ready to rock and roll.
Oh,
no. How? Who's going to get a big base hit? Who's going to take that moment and absorb it and go after it instead of going, I'm going to be tentative, 3-1 fastball, just fouled it away. Seiya, somebody tell Seiya, be aggressive, man.
Right. If he hits a first pitch homer, you feel like they're going to win.
Yeah. Against the scoreboard.
Okay, fine.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Make a statement like Schwarber did.
Well, as you can hear and see, depending on the platform you consume the show, exciting times around here. Our favorite team is in the playoffs. They have a chance to win the World Series. And wow, what a ride it's been. The season moved quick. That might be, I don't know how else to put that. I just think from our perspective, it did.
Has to with the way we do it. Yeah.
And
we look so far ahead. That 16-5 stretch that got him in the playoffs, we talked about that like 3 weeks prior.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope the postseason goes slow, with that being said.
Yeah.
And, go to Halloween. And
I'd love to do a watch along on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
I don't have to watch Illinois Purdue.
Guardians Tigers at noon. Cubs Padres at 2. Yankees Red Sox at 5.
That'll be a great
and
series.
Dodgers Reds at 8. Green Ohtani, one of the better matchups probably.
Oh, Ohtani's getting the ball game 1?
Well,
I thought I saw Snell.
Okay, well, I could be wrong then. But exciting March Madness like baseball. Definitely going to enjoy it the next couple of days. Sam, anything else?
No, nothing else.
You said it all.
Yeah, no, I'm ready. I'm ready, man. I'm ready to go. These guys are ready to go. I'll say it again. Go for it. Just go for it. Don't worry about,
time to win.
Yeah. Oh, if you bobble a ball or you strike out, listen, unfortunately, we have a lot of practice with that here, with these fans. So nobody's going to remember you that much if things go poorly, but everybody will remember you if things go great.
This is Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. For your second listen, check out Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game
Cubs should have won that series in '84.
All season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on the Locked On
They're the better
MLB
team
channel on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Go Cubs.